Hello, Cherries. How you doing? Welcome to my live Cherry Saturday, episode 7. And in this video, I'm going to show you how guitar chords are built in a key. And I see we have a couple cool people here in the live chats. Mr. Aaron, Shorts, and Kelly are here. Thank you for hanging out with me here on this Saturday, this beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Brooklyn, New York. All right, you guys drinking coffee? Getting ready to play some music? I have my Married to Myself, my album, my latest album, Married to Myself mug, and I'm drinking some espresso. It is so good. Let me know in the chat if you're drinking coffee, tequila, water. What do you got? What do you got going on? Nice mug, yeah. I got it in a few days ago. And I tell you what, coffee really tastes really good in this mug. It's fantastic. Whiskey? You drinking whiskey? All right. It's not too early. It's only 1 o'clock here in New York, you know. Get started anytime, you know. All right. So, yeah, I hope you guys have your guitars ready. We're going to learn a little music theory here. And this is the most important thing that we're going to learn in music, pretty much. Besides actually, you know, tuning the guitar, basically. It's the most basic part of music, and it's knowing the 7 chords that are in every key. You have 7 chords, you have 7 notes. And let me know if you know this already, but it's a... Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. So you've known that ever since you were born, the scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Right, well, that basically is the same thing in guitar. So each note has a chord that goes along with it and a number. So the first one is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and back to 1 again, because there's only 7 notes in the scale, and those are the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it starts over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, and it just goes on and on and on in different octaves. So we have here, and those 7 notes in this major scale is a series of whole steps and half steps. And you'll see on the guitar, it's made up of all these half steps. A half step is 1 fret. In an octave, you actually have 12 actual notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then starts over again, an octave higher. But in a scale, it's kind of a broken down version of that, where there's only 7. And you have a series of whole steps and half steps. Those chromatic notes were half steps. A whole step is 2 half steps. So you have a half step and you have a whole step. It's like a short step and a long leg step. So in the major scale, you have whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So you have a whole step from the first to the second, whole step, which, so you're skipping 1 because it's 2 half steps make a whole. So you have whole step, skipping 1, whole step, then a half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and that's what gives the sound of the major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It's those series of whole steps and half steps. Now, that series of whole steps and half steps, you can relate that to every starting point as well. So the first chord is an E. We're in the key of E because a lot of teachers start off in C because it's a no flats, no sharps. But I'm gonna play in the guitar-friendly key of E because no one says, "Hey, let's jam in C." You know, everyone plays in E. It's guitar-friendly chord because there's some open strings. You have an open E. You have an open E up here. You have the open B string here. You have it's just really guitar friendly, and guitar players love E. So, and the thing is that this applies to every key. So once you know this principle, you could just move it to every key that there is. Okay. So with those 7 notes, they have 7 chords that go along with them. And those chords are the 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord, 7 chord. And let's jam in D. Well, you hear that a lot too. That's cool. But today we're in E, but we can mix it to D at any time because, you know, it's all the same. Once you know it in E, you'll know it in D, you'll know it in C, you know, in the C sharp, B sharp, every key, because it's all the same. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do is in every key. So, in those 7 notes, you have 7 chords. The 1 chord is a major chord. The 2 chord is a minor chord, and it's always this way in music. It's the most basic thing you need to know as a guitar player and a musician, is that every key has 7 chords, and they're all the same cycle of chords. The 1 is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 is major, 6 is minor, 7, it's tricky. It's hard to play up here. And 7 is a diminished or a flat 5. There's so many names for it. It's kind of a diminished 7th chord. And then the octave, back to the top again. So it always starts again, you know, from 1 is 8s. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you have 8s. Any questions? So, all right. So in all those chords, they share the same 7 notes. That's the beauty of it. Just like we had do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The chords share the same notes. Oops. I can't even play that 1 chord. What is it? It's like that. Something like that, right? Okay. So now the chords are really broken up into, you know, power chords, triads. So let's take it from right here. Here's E major. Let's see, we'll play it up here. And because this is the major chord, you have a 3rd, you have a 5th, and you have a 7th. Same thing as down here. We're playing it up an octave. And those 7 notes make up a chord. So it's a major chord, so you have the 3rd, because it's 3 notes up from the first note. 1, 2, 3. That's what makes it major. 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you wanted to just play a major triad, you play the 1 and the 3rd, or the 1 and the 5th. If you wanted to play a 7th chord, you play the 7th note of the scale. So if you see a chart or any piece of music that says E major 7, you know that the 7 is the chord that you want to hear, based on the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If it was 9, you would play. Now here's where it gets a little tricky, is that it only goes to 7 and then starts over again, like we already talked about. So once it goes to 7, then 8 is the octave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same note, just an octave above. Right? Okay. So, and then after 8, it goes to 9. But really, it's really starts again, so it's really 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But the 2, you can count it as a 9 as well in music. So you go to 8s, which is really 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Starting again. 1. And from up there, as you go up the scale, you're counting again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But early on, you can actually count the 2 as 9. Like it could be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, but no one counts there. You don't really count like that. But the 13 you will, because you have 13 chords, you have 11 chords, and 9. And that's based off of, here's your 8, 9, which is, or 2. Now, if it's a 9 chord, you want to emphasize this note. How do we do that? Now, that's a C9, because I'm playing the second note above the octave. I'm actually hitting the 7th too. I'm hitting the root, the 3rd, the 7th, and the 9th. Now if I want an 11th chord, it's the same as 4 or 11. So here's the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 8, 9, 10, 11. So if someone says, I want to hear a E11 chord, you make sure you have that note in there. You know, it would sound kind of like this. There's a million ways to play them to make them sound better. I'm just kind of making up the first one that comes to mind. Or a 13 chord, which is the same as 6. So you have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a 13 chord is going to sound kind of like this. You know, like. Okay. So, you know, really what you have is a 7th, a 9th, is the same as a 2, an 11th is the same as a 4, and a 13 is the same as a 6. Because if this was down an octave, this 13, it would be a 6. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But once you get above the octave, that's when they start calling it the extensions. And what it basically is an extension. So, that's it in the key of, in the 1 chord of E. Now you have, you know, all the same things apply to all the other chords. The 2 chord, the 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord. So once you know all that stuff, you're pretty much free to play all over the neck. So you have, that's why I actually have another lesson. Oh, sorry about that if you heard that. Let me shut this off real quick. Hold on. Okay, there you go. My email sound is on. And so yeah, I have another modes, a lesson on modes. You can click the card there. I see a link in my description, and it shows the all the positions. It's in the key of C, but you could transfer it to E as well. And what was that, Aaron? You were just talking about kidding about the whiskey? Yeah, sure. I don't believe that for a second. So yeah, check out that video on modes that I have, and I have another video on how to play in different parallel, how to play parallel minor, which is very interesting as well. So have a little swig of your coffee, and we'll continue. So what's cool about this is if you learn your arpeggios, you're basically playing every part of the chord right there. This is a 13th arpeggio, because you have 1, your 3rd, your 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, and 13th. This is one of the first things I learned on guitar when I took my first lessons when I was 17, years after I already started playing. And he showed me these, and they were very helpful in understanding music theory, because they point out all the notes of the chord. I don't know if you know these or not, but definitely check these out. And so you have the same thing in all the chords. The one chord, then you have the two chord, which is F minor. A little bit different because it's a minor chord. But the same thing applies. You're just counting up the scale from the starting point. Is an F minor, but it's all the same notes as E. But we're starting on F minor, and you have the minor third, fifth, seventh, ninth, 11th, 13th. There's all kinds of cool jazzy chords you could play with that. And the same thing when you move up to the third chord, the 3 chord, which is the G sharp. You have a now I'm playing all the same notes, but starting on the G sharp, and I'm playing them in thirds. Basically is what it is. I'm skipping a note each time. So I'm going to the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th. It's a flat 9 in this case because that's just because there's an A in that scale. So I'm playing all the notes in that scale in increments of 3s. So you have that gives you that flat 9 sound. Which is different than the 2 chord, which would sound like this. It's a natural 9 right there. But the 3 chord, instead of it sounding like this, the same as this, it's flat. Then you have the 4 chord, the 5 chord, 6 chord, the 7, back to the 1 again. All right. So that really is a whole nother lesson, the arpeggios, the 13th arpeggios. But, you know, once you know that it's all based on those 7 notes, then you could build every chord from there, you know, based on whole steps, half steps, and all that stuff. And what's really cool about something like this too is when someone says, hey, let's jam in E, you know, for any guitar player, you know, there's so many different variations of E because you have 7 chords. That E really could be any one of those. It could be the 1 chord, it could be the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7 chords. You have 7 different possibilities. You know, when someone says E, I mean, most of the time we'll know it's what E is, but musically, you have 7 different ideas. So the E could be any one of them. You just, you know, that it gives you like a toolbox of different musical ideas. Like a lot of times when I pick up a guitar, first thing I usually do is I'll play an E like this and I'll go. And all I'm doing is I'm just playing through all the chords of E, but I'm letting the E drone. I'm playing a 1 chord, a 2 chord, a 3 chord, but I'm letting the E, with that E drone out, and I'm letting these 2 strings ring out. I'm playing A, but I'm actually playing just part of the A chord right there. I'm letting the E ring out. These are all chords that are related to E. F sharp, 3 chord, 5 chord, which is B, the 6 chord, so I'm playing just part of that chord. Here's the whole chord, right? I'm only playing the 5th, the octave, and the 3rd of each chord. 5th, octave, 3rd of the 1 chord, 5th, octave, 3rd of the 2nd, and so on. So if you know that, then, which is only 7 chords, so you could actually make that 1 chord the 2 chord. So we're kind of shifting everything here. So if someone says, hey, let's play an E, you could do what I just did, or that E could be here, okay? 2 chord, which would be in the key of D, Aaron, like you're saying. So if this E is the 2 now, so the 1 would be a D. So we'll take that like this. Here's the 1. Here's the D chord. Right? If I do the same principle with the E droning out, I know now that I'm in the key of D. I'm emphasizing the E. Here's the E. Here's the in D. Here's the same thing. You have the Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, Ti, Do. D, open D. So you have all 7 chords on here too. D, E, sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, diminished, and D. So I'm going to let the E drone while I play chords in D. But you can mix them up too. In E major. Key of D. Back to key of E. So that was just simple, based off of what we did earlier with the with chords. Now it could be the E could be the 3 chord as well, and that means now that it's in the key of, it could be in this position right here. It would be the 3 chord. It would be in C. So you do the same thing with E right here. Now how different it sounds? So when someone says let's play an E, you have 7 different options. Which gets into a different whole thing on modes, but once you know the 7 chords, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what is it? 5, 6, 7. Maybe I should know them first. 8. All right. Patrick, how you doing, my man? Solo. All right, let's take this to another level here. Have a little E rhythm going on. Playing the E major, all the same note. Check out these arpeggios. So there you go. A little bit of jam in an E. Hopefully that helped. I released a video yesterday, by the way, doing a cover of Give Peace a Chance by John Lennon. And check that out when you get a chance. If you haven't seen that, I put a link in my description, or I have a card here above. And thank you, Patrick, for that. Very cool. And definitely check out the video I have on modes, because it'll definitely help open up your fretboard so you can see everything and play everywhere on the neck when you're solo and playing any key everywhere. It's all the same. Once you learn this easy 7-chord thing here. And so, I post a new guitar video every Wednesday. The last few weeks I've been a little bit late on Friday, but usually every Wednesday. So, like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, please check that out. And let's see, Keith Scott. And who's that Keith Scott? I don't know, but I have to check that person out. Thanks for hanging out with me here in the on my live Cherry Saturday episode 7, playing some music, drinking some coffee. Hopefully you guys have enjoy the rest of your day. I don't know what it's like out, but it was pretty chilly out. It feels like it was going to snow for some reason here in New York. I have to stick my head out the window and see what it's like out there today. And also, if there's something you'd like me to teach, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know if there's a particular song you want to learn. It's music theory. Once again, if you found this video helpful, please tap the like button, hammer on the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. I go live every Thursday on Facebook at 7:30. Check out Jerry Cherry Band on Facebook, where I do like an hour and a half of original songs, covers. Guitar player Bryan Adams. Someone was just talking about him. I love that guy, the guy Keith Scott and Bryan Adams. He's probably one of my favorite guitar players. Not that I really research a lot of his stuff, but every time you hear a Bryan Adams song, it's the guitar solos are always perfect. Because it's one thing to play these scales, but it's another thing to feel them. Like Jimi Hendrix once said, it's easy to play the blues, it's hard to feel it. But it's more about they're just notes, but it's all about how you play them and how you touch it and how you feel. That's the beauty of it, because that's what separates everybody and musicians, because everyone has the same notes to choose from, but you could take just one note, and that's the beauty thing about Keith Scott, is that he makes every note to sound perfect. And that's what I love about music, is the simplicity of it, making it sound good, because it's all about ear candy. Right, so practice that. I'll practice too. And so that's going to be it. I don't know how long we went. We went pretty long on this lesson. So thanks for spending time with me. Thanks, Aaron. Brian doesn't play. I know Brian doesn't play the solos. We got Keith Scott, his guitar player, plays them. But Brian writes all the songs, so. And so check out more of a Brian. Listen, when you hear the Bryan Adams songs, all the solos, Cuts Like a Knife solo, the Everything I Do It For You is one of my favorite guitar solos. I describe his sound as like leather. Like his tone to me just reminds me of like leather. It's that texture when I hear his solos. And I kind of go for that too when I'm recording solos for my songs. So thanks for all that good stuff in the chats. Thanks for spending time with me today. I really appreciate it. Come on Thursday where you hear me play some of my original songs, some covers, and that's always fun on Facebook, Thursdays at 7:30. And hit the like, subscribe button here. Thanks for spending half an hour with me here today. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful day. Stay cool. Remember, be cool, be kind, and be cherry. Love you guys. If there's anything you want me to teach or learn, let me know in the comments, and I promise I'll get to it. Ciao, guys. Have a great day, Patrick. Thank you. You know, because I can't find. There it is. I can't find my mouse. Famous last words. Ciao.